The story begins with a girl named Cairo, whose parents used to stay away from her. Cairo was very fond of writing since childhood, and she wanted to become a writer when she grew up. So, she used to write a lot when she got free time. Currently, Cairo is a high school student. She leaves for a school early in the morning on the way to the jungle because she did not want to miss her teacher Jonathan's class. After some time, Cairo reaches the school where teacher Jonathan was already present in the class. Jonathan was very surprised to see Cairo coming so early because the class had not even started yet. Jonathan wanted to become a big and famous writer, but when his dream did not come true, he became a teacher. Anyway, now here Jonathan asks Cairo for her name, on which Cairo tells Jonathan her name and tells her about herself. Here Cairo tells that her friend Winnie has asked her to attend Jonathan's class because Cairo is very interested in English literature. Here Jonathan asks Cairo to read the books given in the syllabus, but Cairo had already read them. Meanwhile, Cairo's friend Winnie comes here, who is an excellent student in the class. Now the class had a lot of time to start, so they both go out for a while. As soon as they go out of Cairo, Jonathan starts checking Cairo's stuff and he gets an adult book from Cairo's stuff. But before he could check it, a teacher named Boris comes here who teaches here, and he is Jonathan's good friend. He had brought coffee for Jonathan, so he gives coffee to Jonathan and he starts reading Cairo's book in his hand. We see Jonathan in his house at night, who was sitting with his wife. Here his wife was busy in her work, but Jonathan was in a romantic mood. So to distract his wife from his work, he tells her that a student was reading my book in the class. Jonathan's ear trick works and his wife starts paying attention to him. After that, they both drink a little and get very close to each other. But before they could do anything, Jonathan's wife's phone starts ringing, which spoils their mood. The next day, we see Jonathan and Boris sitting in the playground of the school, who were talking to each other, looking at the forest in front of them. They say that this forest is very dense and also very old. Then they see Cairo coming from the forest, which was looking very beautiful. In a while, Cairo gets close to them and starts talking to them. Now, because Cairo didn't have breakfast today, so here Boris gives him some biscuits to eat. Here Jonathan, who is very disappointed with his wife's behavior at night, starts looking at Cairo carefully while eating biscuits. After a while, Cairo thanks Boris for giving the biscuits, after which Boris leaves from here. And after Boris leaves, Jonathan asks Cairo that aren't you afraid of coming from this forest? There are scary animals in it. On this, Cairo tells Jonathan that I am the most dangerous and scary thing here, on which Jonathan starts laughing. Then the scene shifts, and we see that Boris was passing by Vinnie. And here, Vinnie deliberately drops her book on the ground because she wanted to attract Boris's attention towards her. But here, Boris stops and asks Vinnie, "What do you want?" On which Vinnie does not answer, but she starts coming close to him and also flirts with him, by which Boris gets upset and leaves from here. At the same time, Cairo is watching all this from a distance, and as soon as Boris leaves from here, she goes to Vinnie and says to him in a little anger, "Are you crazy? Are you doing all this with your teacher?" On Cairo's words, Vinnie says that you are feeling jealous of me, that's why you are saying this. But Cairo replies that I am not jealous of you. In fact, I was surprised to see your courage. Now, after a while, they both go home from school, where Vinnie tells Cairo that you are actually very beautiful, but you have never tried to show yourself beautiful. Here Cairo says that I don't like all this. Then Vinnie says that I like Boris a lot and I want to have an affair with him. Cairo, getting upset with Vinnie's words, says that I am worried about my college admission question, in which I had to tell him about the biggest achievement of my life. They both start discussing this thing, and here Vinnie tells Cairo that you have an affair with Jonathan and then write about it. Cairo tells Vinnie that Jonathan is 20 years older than me, but Vinnie says that all this is common nowadays. After this, Vinnie starts telling Cairo good things about Jonathan, which makes Cairo interested in Jonathan, and she starts reading Jonathan's books at night. The next day, Cairo keeps looking at Jonathan carefully in the class, and Jonathan notices this thing, and comes to him and says that meet me after the class is over. After some time, the class is over, and Jonathan starts waiting for Cairo. But before Cairo comes, Boris comes here and tells Jonathan that you have started liking Cairo. But Jonathan doesn't agree with this, and asks Boris to leave. Before leaving, Boris does some dance steps and starts teasing Jonathan. And after he leaves, Jonathan also repeats his dance. And then Cairo comes here and starts at Jonathan. Then Jonathan also starts laughing at his stupidity. Then they both sit down and start discussing English literature. Here, Jonathan is very impressed with a paragraph written by Cairo because he remembered it completely. Hearing the praise of his paragraph from Jonathan's mouth, Cairo is very happy. Here, Jonathan says that I want you to write a short story in the style of your favorite writer, and if you do this, I will give you full marks in midterm, on which Cairo agrees. Then they both start talking like this, and after some time, Jonathan asks Cairo to come to a place on the weekend where he was going to help Cairo in this assignment. Now on the weekend, Cairo reaches the place mentioned by Jonathan, and after some time, Jonathan also comes here. Then a poet starts reciting a poem to him, which Jonathan was listening to very carefully. but Cairo's attention was only on Jonathan. Now at night, Jonathan goes to dinner with his wife and Boris, where Vinny works. Vinny comes to take an order from him. Seeing whom, Jonathan's wife asks him, "Is she the same girl you are talking about?" Jonathan says to him that no, she is Cairo. And then Jonathan starts praising Cairo in front of his wife, whom Jonathan's wife doesn't like. That's why she starts badmouthing Jonathan in front of Boris here the next day. Jonathan and Boris were sitting in the playground, where Cairo was coming from the jungle. Cairo had brought coffee for them. She gives them coffee and praises Boris's biscuits a lot. After which, Boris leaves from here. Now, Cairo and Jonathan sit here and start talking and behave very well with each other. After some time, Jonathan gets a message from his wife that they are going out. Then Jonathan comes to the class, where Cairo tells him about her favorite writer, in whose style Cairo's story will be written. Now here Cairo tries to attract Jonathan towards her, but he goes home in a hurry. After some time, Vinny comes here, climbs on Jonathan's table, and starts teasing Cairo. Meanwhile, Boris comes here, seeing whom Vinny starts flirting, and she takes his mobile and puts it in her clothes and tells him to take it out. Here Cairo sees that her mobile is also missing. In the next scene, we see that Jonathan's going out was cancelled because his wife was very busy. Here Jonathan gets a call from Cairo because he had brought Cairo's mobile by mistake. Then, after some time, Jonathan comes to his home to return Cairo's phone. But as soon as he reaches there, it starts raining. But in the meantime, Cairo comes out of her house in a beautiful dress. She asks Jonathan to come inside, but Jonathan was not ready for this. So Cairo comes out and comes close to Jonathan and kisses him. After this, Jonathan is completely lost in Cairo's thoughts. And every time he starts thinking only about Cairo. Now one day when he is sitting with his wife, then his wife tells him that I am not able to work because of you. After which Jonathan goes to his small cabin and starts checking the mail sent to Cairo. In the mail, he finds the story written by Cairo, which was an adult story. This story was actually about a teacher and a student, like Cairo and Jonathan, who Jonathan likes a lot. But the next morning when Jonathan reaches school, he does not behave like Cairo before, on which Cairo asks the reason. Actually, Jonathan had already known that Cairo was going to present this story as an assignment, and because he did not want to let anyone know about his relationship with Cairo, that's why he was behaving like this with Cairo. Also, Jonathan says that you have written a lot of wrong things in that story, on which Cairo says that it is all about us. But Jonathan says that there is nothing like that between us, and you have to write your story again. Otherwise, I will fail you in the midterm. Here Cairo gets angry and she says that you are getting jealous of me, because I wrote what you could not write. And if you can fail me, then do it. After this, Cairo goes home crying and starts drinking with Vinny. Then the scene shifts, and we see Jonathan, who is very sad and upset. His wife asks him, on which Jonathan shows him Cairo's written story. As soon as he reads it, his wife also becomes romantic and comes close to Jonathan. But then Boris comes here, due to which their romance is incomplete. Here Cairo tells Vinny that I have no interest in Jonathan. Then Cairo tells Vinny to message Boris, after which Vinny starts teasing Boris by messaging him. But Vinny's words have no effect on him. After this, Cairo sends a nice photo of her and Vinny to Boris. After seeing this, Boris leaves Jonathan's house. After this, Jonathan's wife gets a call from Jonathan's school, due to which she gets to know about the relationship between Jonathan and Cairo. Then Jonathan's wife asks Jonathan what is all this, but Jonathan says that all this is a lie. Then the next day we see that Cairo is not in the class but was in the principal's office, because here she was going to tell everything to the principal about her. And Jonathan. Here Cairo tells everything about Jonathan's truth. And after this, when Jonathan is asked about it, he has no answer. After which Jonathan is expelled from the school. Outside the school, Boris meets Jonathan and says that you should not have crossed your limit. And because of crossing the limit, you are sitting here today. Jonathan reaches home and tells his wife that he has been expelled from the job, after which his suspicion increases. And she asks Jonathan about his relationship with Cairo. But here also, Jonathan says nothing and says that there is nothing, as everyone is understanding. Due to this, there is a fight between these two. After which Jonathan's wife threatens him with divorce and leaves from here. Meanwhile, Vinny tells Cairo that Jonathan's life was ruined because of you. Why did you do this? But Cairo was not at all sad that she ruined someone's life. In fact, she was happy. She says that Jonathan used me, now she will know what I am. And after some time, Cairo writes the biggest achievement of her life for a college admission.